Okay, but what's worse than a P320 going off when you don't want it to? It's anything to do with an AK. Now, I just thought this was interesting that Geissle themselves decided to come out with like a AR trigger pack, but for an AK. So it's like an actual like condensed unit rather than a two-piece trigger. Just a drop-in AK replacement, two-stage trigger. Geissle has a new trigger unit for AK pattern firearms with the AKX with lightning bow. Is a drop-in trigger pack with the lightning bow trigger shoe. Keep reading for all the details. Okay, fine, I will. Okay. Geissle, okay, so this is actually the new ALG trigger, because for a long time, the ALG trigger from Geissle, or not from Geissle, sorry, from ALG, which is a sister company to Geissle, if it's like Amy's company or something like that, that was like the go-to trigger for an AK. Back in the day, you had the Tapco G2s, and then like stock AK triggers, I think, are fine, but if you want something nice, you go with the ALG, unless you own a Zastava, because according to Zastava, the ALGs will break their bolt carrier groups or something like that because the metal's too hard. And now there's a new player in the game. Well, kind of the same player, but new. It's Geissle back with a two-stage trigger, which is, I guess, kind of interesting. Now, on my AKM, my Wasser 10, the trigger is like 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds. So I don't know why you would ever go lighter than that for a AK or like a rifle style trigger, unless it's for a competition rifle. And if you're competing with an AK, well, then you have other things to worry about. The AK ALG, AKT-UL, and AKT-EL are standard type triggers, meaning they're separate hammer. Okay, the AKX being a cassette, 3.5 to 4 pounds, two-stage trigger pull, and they retail for $400, which is $400 is what like a AK should go for. Right? AKs should be $400 if there weren't wacky import restrictions and ammo is really expensive. So $400 trigger for an AK. Some people are undoubtedly going to buy it, and I'm sure it's a great trigger. I'm sure it's an improvement, but I mean, it's polishing a turd, right? It's doing more and more to make your turd run a little smoother and a little nicer, but it's a conscript gun.
The whole point of getting AKs in this country was just because it was cheap. Like that's what like teenagers bought as their first rifles because they could get them. The ammo was cheap. Now they're not cheap. So like, what's the point? And you have to do all this just to even get close to Eugene Stoner. It's
That's what they
actually,
need to mimic a fraction of my power.
yeah, it's pretty sad. If you want a free AK, you can just go sign up to fight in Ukraine. I hear they hand them out over there. I'm sorry, that's too much.
No, yeah, so I could never do it, right? I would never buy this for $400 when I bought the AK for $500, right? That seems like a complete waste to me. And the trigger that's in there, again, the Wasser 10 trigger is like 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds. Like I couldn't even care that much. I mean, maybe if it's a competition gun, but AKs aren't competition guns. And yeah, AKs only ever made sense when the ammunition was 20 cents a round and the guns were $400. And now, like a nice AK is over $1,000 or just a Wasser 10, right? So you're taking a nice, quote unquote, nice AK, and then you take this Geissle trigger that may or may not fit because AKs are retarded and there is no like real standardization between all the different models. So somebody's going to try and put this in their PSA AK 103 or, you know, whatever the numbers mean, anything else like that. I'm not autistic that way. I can't tell you what the numbers actually mean. And they're going to be like, why doesn't it work? Although what's funny is PSA is probably going to start offering this as a standard option in their GF6 or whatever their next gen, or maybe their Saber AKs, right? And they'll charge like $2,000 for a PSA AK. And PSA AKs went from being a $600 like trash rifle to being a $2,000 trash rifle. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would go with a Wasser. If you're going to buy an AK, you might as well get a Romanian build kit, basically. Just do that.